Hello. Welcome to the dojo. A lot of chopping in the dojo. It's me, Brady. Levi is around the corner. This is Nerdish. That's what you're watching. And today we're going to be going over some big things. I'm talking huge. We're going to be talking about inequalities, all sorts of aspects, facets, really great, some dimensions of inequalities. Levi will be talking about purpose questions.
Purpose questions
SAT.
on the it's we have the SAT, but purpose questions on the SAT and ACT are the same.
Yes. I don't disagree with him on that.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with your lack of disagreement. I actually appreciate it.
Good.
It's fine. It's fine.
Hey,
What?
that's my pocket.
Yeah.
Don't play with my pocket.
I'm gonna play with your pocket.
That's my marker pocket.
What about?
It's the source of all my energy. What happened to Brendan? He got an operation. Yes. No, his traps had to be reduced.
It's just for the war effort.
For the war effort.
For the war effort.
Our boys on the front lines need his traps. No, that's not true. Brendan actually has left Nerdish.
Yes.
He's got a new job, and he's happy. We're happy. Everyone's happy. So
You're happy.
you're happy.
It doesn't seem like you're happy, but deep down you might be happy.
It looks like you're crying.
Yeah.
We're gonna tell Brendan that you have the crying emojis because I think he'll probably feel loved.
Yeah.
Probably. But now you can ask us like really personal things about Brendan's personal life, and we are obliged to respond.
Yes, we are.
Storm, how are you doing?
Yeah.
What's up, huh? We haven't heard from you in a while.
What happened to you?
Inequalities.
Oh, Storm.
That's a song from Shrek.
Stop that. Yeah.
Yeah. Storm. Be happy. Repress and dissociate.
Dissociate.
Repress
Repress.
and dissociate.
Dissociate.
Reassociate
Reassociate.
and
Express.
express. Yeah, I guess that's the opposite.
Yeah,
We didn't know
kinda.
that before.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That would have helped you a lot.
it would have.
Would have helped me. Would have helped you.
Yes. Associate and express. We can start
That's
saying
kind of
that.
nice.
Yeah, exactly. Although dissociate and associate are not really, they're not really opposites, even though like they sound like they would be.
Yeah. I think it's re-enter your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reassociate.
Spiritually.
We'll
Reassociate.
talk about it.
Yeah,
We'll talk
we will.
about it. Anyway, real quick, inequalities.
Real quick.
Remember that the alligator mouth points towards the more fish. All right. So 4 is less than 6. This means that the alligator wants to eat 6 fish. I'm not even sure if alligators eat fish. I'm gonna guess they eat meat, and there's probably a lot of fish around, so that's probably what they eat. Anyway, yes. So how does this? Well, let's first talk about when you solve inequalities for x, and you get something like x is greater than or equal to 4. On the number line, you find 4. Bam, right there. If it is an equal as well, it is a closed circle. Fill it in. If it is just less than or greater than, it is an open circle because it can't actually be equal to that value. So this one is going to be a closed circle, and it's greater than 4, meaning, here, this is 0. It's going off in that direction. I always do a little squiggly, but it's going off in that direction. So x can be anything that's 4 and above, forever, into infinity. Anything that's below 4, nuh-uh, can't do it, okay? Great, now we got that settled. Solving inequalities is very similar to solving equations. Let's get a different color going on here. You get something like 2x plus 7 is equal to, oh, I don't know, 13.
Nice.
That's not an inequality. That's the problem with that one. Here we go. We're going to say it is less than 13. All right? Just picture that inequality sign like an equal sign. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other, just like normal equations. So here, if I wanted to solve this, I would subtract 7. 2x is less than 6. I divide both sides by 2. X is less than 3. Great. So it's almost like there's nothing different, except there is. Not with this one. Every now and then, you're going to have to multiply or divide both sides by a negative number. Now, when you do that, anyone have any... Oh, that's you.
It's me.
When you do that, you must switch the direction of the sign. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say we had something like this. We had negative 4x is greater than 16. In order to solve this, we have to divide both sides by negative 4. But if we do that, we are dividing by a negative number. So our inequality now has to face the other direction. And now this is x is less than -4. Okay? That is the only difference with solving inequalities. Okay? It must switch direction if you multiply or divide by a negative number. All right? Great. You guys are doing so well so far. This is incredible. Beyond my wildest dreams. Now let's talk about graphing these in the two-dimensional XY coordinate Cartesian rectangular coordinate plane. I said coordinate twice, didn't I?
Yes.
Okay, I got a lot of other cool things in there. Great. All right. All right, here, let's see, I've got this. I got my wet rag on my right, and I have my dry rag on my left. Very good. Okay. Put my wet rag back in my pocket, take my dry rag out, and don't forget to narrate to people who don't really need to know my thought process on how I'm doing this. Keep breathing. Look around every now and then to maintain a sense of your surroundings. Keep breathing. Digest. Digest. And about a bajillion other things that your body does that you don't control. But for me, I have to control it. All right, so let's talk about graphing inequalities. Y is greater than 2x plus 3. Okay. Got a coordinate plane here. This is just like graphing a normal line in where you put the line. Okay? This is just like graphing y is equal to 2x plus 3. So how do you graph that? Well, you know you have a y-intercept of 3 right there, and then your slope is 2. So you go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and then down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. So you're going to get a line that's down these points, but the solutions to a two-dimensional inequality, or just a two-variable inequality, they're coordinates, all right? Before it was just a number. A number is, you know, it can be x as long as it's greater than 4. Great. Now we're going to be putting ordered pairs, an x and y, in. And either they work in this inequality or they don't. Like, let me give you an example. Let's say we're going to just test 7, 2. Let's see if that works. So we put in 7 for x and 2 for y. 2 is greater than 2 times 7 plus 3. This would be 2. If you guys were in high school again, how would you study? What would you guys recommend for a 3-month study plan? Like how much to practice daily, or should I even practice daily? How long? When do I take practice tests? Well, robot, dancer, if you're able to take a practice test, what would you say, Levi? Once every 2 weeks? I mean, depending on what the test is.
Yeah.
If you got a 3-month window here, then yeah, you don't need to go insane here.
If they have access to 3, I would say 3 practice tests is probably enough.
Yeah, if you can take, so 1 a month?
Well,
1 every 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, maybe every 3 weeks.
Yeah, maybe take a test every 2 or 3 weeks, if you have that much time. If we were in high school, how would we study? Yeah, and I'd pay close attention to where my deficiencies were, what I'm not getting. Now keep in mind that the easiest score to improve is your English score. So by looking up concepts that you don't get or talking to us on stream, that will improve the most. So like your average, your composite score, is an average of the 4 scores, so it doesn't matter which ones go up. Any one of them going up will increase your average. So you want to try to go for the easiest possible points you have in the time that you have. Now you have a lot of time, so like you can work on all of them as you should, but really try to focus on polishing that English score, because that thing can be a good buffer against a science section that doesn't go that well. Science is very volatile. The scores that I mean. Okay, so this is going to be 14 plus 3, which is 14 plus 3 is 17. English meaning reading or writing, because reading is hard. Oh, on the SAT, it's the writing section. Yeah, the grammar section, basically. Not when you're reading passages and answering questions about them. Although that sounds like both sections. It's the grammar section. That's what I'm saying. Okay, 2 is greater than 17. Does that work? No, it does not. So therefore, this point is not a solution to this inequality. Okay? So yes, we're plugging in coordinates, x and y, and seeing if they work. So, next thing is, do our solutions actually fall on the line? Hold on. Our solutions are going to fall to one side of the line or the other. Okay? 7, 2 is like right here. This side of the line is not going to be able to work. 2 hours a day, if you have 3 months to study, don't study 2 hours a day. Spread it out a little bit, yeah, otherwise you're going to go a little crazy. Yeah. Robot, you've got a lot of good questions about what you should be doing. I feel like Robot could use a tutor.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, Robot, you should message us because we should talk about tutoring. Okay, anyway, so we know it's either going to be this side or this side, but the question also is, do points that fall right along the line, do they also work? Depends on this inequality sign right here. If it's greater than or equal to, we could have points on the line. In this case, it's greater than, not equal to, so kind of like it's the analog of whether or not you do an open dot or a closed dot on a number line. Open dot is a dotted line, and a closed dot is a solid line. In this case, we want a dotted line. So that's the line that connects these points. It's going to be a dotted one. Okay, goes on forever. And the last thing you have to do is figure out which side of it works. Is it this side or is it this side? Now, we already tried 7, 2, and it didn't work. So if we test 1 point on one side and it doesn't work, that whole side is just not going to work. Okay, it's the other side that's going to work. There are 2 ways that I would say you could figure this out. 0, 0 is a great point to pick because your variables both being equal to 0 make this super easy to figure out very quickly. 0 is greater than 3. Is that true? No, it's not. Therefore, it can't be the side that is 0, 0. But even easier, the y value of successful points needs to be above, greater than 2x plus 3, which means if it's greater than, we have to go up. So if you take your line and you just go up from your line, you end up on this side, which is, it's the left side kind of. But, left and right, not exactly the best way to think about it, because we could also be thinking of this as like above the line and below the line. Depends like which direction you're looking. But it is this side, so you want to shade the side that your solutions can fall on. Any point in any of these spaces, let me just pick one. Let's say that we have, I don't know, -4, 4. Let's try that. So y is greater than, I'm going to write that over here. Y is greater than 2x plus 3. So we have 4 is greater than 2 times -4 plus 3. 4 is greater than -8 plus 3. 4 is greater than -5. It is. It is greater than -5. So that side of the line works quite well. Let's clean this up. Let's do another one. Hey. Leave, give me a favor. I should have done this already. Unless you're working on putting together your thing. Are you doing that right now?
No, I was doing something else, but yes, what's up?
Are there any inequality questions on the SAT that we have posted?
Let me find it.
Okay. I should be prepared, but I am not.
All is well.
Yes, I agree. I agree with all as well. All right, this is getting dry. I'm going to start on the inside and work my way out. It's still wet right there. Let it dry. There we go. It's getting dry. And wet. See? Still wet right there. Right there. You got to wait for it to dry. Didn't do that. And I paid the price. The iron price. Winter is coming. Ned Stark is an honorable man. You could always use gillyweed. Not Game of Thrones. Okay.
Is that Harry Potter when he's breathing?
Neville, yep. I don't know about that, but you could always use gillyweed. What? Of course, it was Mad-Eyed Moody, who was actually Barty Crouch Jr., who took Polyjuice Potion to be Mad-Eyed Moody, who gave Neville the book that had gillyweed in it, because he knew it would help Harry. Because he wanted to have Harry win the Triwizard Tournament so that he'd be jettisoned or portkeyed to that graveyard where he who must not be named was. Okay, so let's say that we have y is less than or equal to x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay? Well, in this case, we're not going to have a linear line. It's going to be a quadratic line. Okay? If you want to figure out how to graph this thing, it's going to be a positive parabola. It's upward facing. What are our zeros going to be? If you set this equal to 0, and you factor, two numbers that multiply to 6 and add to 5 are 2 and 3. So that's going to be 0 is equal to x plus 2, x plus 3, meaning your two zeros, or roots, or solutions, or x-intercepts, are negative 2 and negative 3. So we got negative 2, negative 3. Now, this is going to be a solid line because it is less than or equal to, but it's got that equal to. So we know it's going to be solid. Let's see, and also the y-intercept will be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right there. So parabola is going to look something like this. Now the question is, where do we shade? Y is less than that, which means go down. So any point you want on the line, if you go down from that, it looks like it's going to be outside of the parabola. Outside of the parabola. That's where all the solutions are. Just to check, it looks like the origin, 0, 0, is outside, and let's plug that in. 0 is less than or equal to 6. Is that true? Yes, it is. So 0, 0 is a solution. So yes, we're shading outside. Put some cross-hatching on here. Yeah, love some cross-hatch. Love me some cross-hatch. Dated a cross-hatch in high school. That doesn't mean anything. Any good ones, Leaf?
Yeah.
Nice.
There's one that's pretty hard, actually.
Well, you know what? Let's go for it. Should I be worried?
Thanks.
Should I be jealous?
Might want to be. Might lag a little.
Sorry, guys. It's going to lag.
Okay, so this is the first one, number 12.
Excellent. All right. Let's let this thing dry. While it's doing that, I can read this. On January 1st, 2000, which was supposed to be the day that, Y2K, all the computers die and atomic bombs are launched, but it didn't happen. Fun fact, anyone who thought the world was going to end has always been wrong up to this point, unless you're talking about some, pretty really old civilizations that were, kind of fell apart. But as far as the world ending, that's kind of a big statement to make. What does it mean for the world to end? Because if it's just your way of life is over, or your civilization's in tatters, I guess that kind of means it. But I'm talking about recent. Hello, CB Turtle. Welcome.
CB Turtle.
Welcome. All right, on January, I got totally sidetracked there, 2000, there were 175,000 tons of trash in a landfill that had a capacity of 325,000 tons. Each year since then, the amount of trash in the landfill increased by 7,500 tons. If Y represents the time in years after January 1st, 2000, which of the following inequalities represents or describes the set of years where the landfill is at or above capacity? Oh, man. That's pretty wild. Okay, so the two sides of this thing is how much the landfill has and what the capacity of the landfill is. And then we got to figure out that what it is at, so what it currently has, is at or above the capacity. At or above means you could be at it or above it, which should sound to you like greater than or equal to, which is what exactly that means. So what is the capacity, it says? All right, capacity is 325,000 tons. So I know that that's going to be on my right side. All right, 325,000, that's the capacity. And what the actual landfill has, the set of years where the landfill is at or above, that's greater than that number, or equal to, okay? So just based off of this, let's take a look at our options here and see if anything looks like this. Well, not exactly. Now, of course, they might have set it up a little bit differently, but we want a 325,000 on one side. We want the inequality facing away from that. So options that we have here. D is an option. I do not see our number, our capacity, anywhere in C, so that's out. I do see our number here, and the inequality is pointing away from it, which is what we want. So that's also an option. I don't know why I'm underlining these. Okay, and then this one here, 325,000 needs to be on its own side. That's where the capacity is. So let's get rid of that. We got two options here. So now, what represents the amount that you have in the landfill at any given time? Well, it starts out with 175,000 tons, so that's our y-intercept, so to speak. And that's our beginning value. So we definitely have that much at least. And then every year, we add 7,500 tons. And if every year is represented in y, we're going to multiply y by 7,500 tons. We're going to add it to this. So plus 7,500 times y is going to be greater than or equal to that. Well, that is D. Yes, the problem with B is that it does not have our starting amount of 175,000 times. It just doesn't have it. Awesome. All right, Levi, what's the next one?
The next one is, there's one that's not great, and then there's another one that's kind of hard.
That's fine. I think it'll be fun. I hope it's fun.
21.
Okay. Okay. Let's just make sure that all the water is starting to dry. All right. 21. A project manager estimates that a project will take X hours to complete, where X is greater than 100. Interesting. So more than 100 hours. The goal is for the estimate to be within 10 hours of the time it will actually take to complete the project. If the manager meets the goal and it takes Y hours to complete the project, which of the following inequalities represents the relationship between the estimated time and the actual completion time? Oh man, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, so let's see. The estimation time is greater than 100. X is greater than 100. Oh, I see. Okay, now the estimation time is X. X is going to be greater than 100, but he or she is just putting down a number, which we're going to call X. We don't know what that number is. Just when you switch the sign. Yeah, so CB Turtle, you switch the direction of the sign when you either multiply or divide by a negative number. Because multiplying and dividing are kind of two sides of the same coin. So it's almost like when you subtract, that's the same thing as adding a negative. Multiply and divide, you could divide by 2. You could also multiply by 1/2. Both are kind of the same thing. So, yes, whenever you do anything operation-wise with multiplication or division with a negative number, your inequality sign has to flip. Okay, so the goal is for the estimate to be within 10 hours of the time it'll actually take to complete the request. The actual time ends up being Y hours. Let me scroll down here. You got it, CB Turtle. Keep being a CB Turtle. We really appreciate it. Manager meets the goal, and it takes Y hours to complete the project, which of the following inequalities represents the relationship between the estimated time and the actual completion time. All right, so the estimated time. Is X. Actual amount of time is Y, and we want it to be within 10 hours of each other. Within 10 hours. So there's two different ways you can go with this. It might be that you went over your estimation, right? Let's say the estimate was 110 hours, and it might be that you went over it. You did 115 hours. That's fine. You're still within 10 hours. Your span here is going to be, the largest you can be is 120, and actually you have to be less than 120 because it's within 10 hours. So I don't think you can actually have it be at the 10-hour mark. But you could also go down. You could also be at 100. As long as you're within 100 and 120, your estimated time was within 10 hours of the actual time. That right there, the fact that you can go both ways, should kind of clue you into what makes sense here. Take a look at D. That's the only one that is a compound inequality. There's two inequalities there. Okay? When you take the actual and subtract the estimated, that number has to be less than 10 or greater than negative 10. And that's what we want here. Because y minus x, if y is bigger, all right, so let's say y is 115 and estimated was 110, y minus x is going to give us 5. We are 5 hours over the estimated time. Jeez. Oh, God. That was a disaster. Great, we're 5 over. But what if we ended up working underneath, like 5 hours underneath it, and y ended up being 105? Then we have 105 minus 110, that's going to be negative 5. We want both to be okay, though. These ones here are not going to be okay. I mean, we can try these. You're not going to add the two. If you want to find the difference between actual and estimated, there has to be subtraction somewhere. There has to be. Now, you could turn B and C into subtraction by subtracting the x over the other side, but still you're only going to get one side of the story, which is it's within 10 hours as long as you work over the estimated amount, or it's within 10 hours as long as you work underneath it. We want it to be okay if we go both ways. D is the only one that does that. Negative 5 is between negative 10 and 10. 5 is between negative 10 and 10 as well. So we're good with that. And you said there was one more, right, Levi?
Yeah, I didn't like it though. It's not a good question to do.
Okay.
It's just not close enough to what you've been doing.
Yeah. All right, then I think.
There's another way that I'd like to talk about with this one.
Sure. Absolute value.
Not exactly. Oh, actually, that's nice too.
They don't give it to you in terms of absolute value.
Right. Yeah, but I was thinking more along the lines of you don't have to look for an answer that looks like those answer choices necessarily. You and also what makes this problem hard is it says x is greater than 100. That's actually not particularly helpful.
It's not.
It kind of throws you off because you're thinking there should be a 100 in there and then somehow it goes away. But you can think since y and x have to be within 10 of each other, that means that x has to be the difference between x and y has to be less than 10. Or can I have a
What do you want? Right?
I don't know.
What do you want?
You can say the difference between x and y is less than 10. Or the difference between x and y is less than negative 10.
Is greater than.
Sorry, greater.
This is my dry one. Here's a wet one.
So if you build it this way, just based on the context of
Negative
the problem,
10.
then you have your answer choice. Now this doesn't actually look like that one, but it's the closest one you can maybe guess. Or you can say, well, if I multiply each side by -1, because the answer D is y minus x, not x minus y, so you multiply this side by negative and this side by negative.
And you switch the signs.
And then you switch the sign, CB turtle, so you get this one becomes y minus x, that's if you flip those signs, is greater than -10, and then y minus x is less than 10.
And this answer just groups those together. Because it's saying that this is smaller than that, which is smaller than that. So we could just have them all in increasing order. Yeah. You want to keep that rag?
No.
Okay.
I'll get my own.
All
Are
right.
you done?
I'm done.
Are you
quite
done?
finished?
I'm done.
Okay, I'm going to pull up the reading section. We're going to lag again. Maybe.
Lagging. Lagging. Lagging.
Okay.
Is what? Oh, I have to erase this too. Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
Yeah, keep erasing. Very good, very good.
Gulagoon. SpongeBob. You wouldn't understand.
Nope.
You probably feel like it's good that you don't know these references because it means that you had like a wholesome childhood, don't you?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I just...
Because like you're looking at it from your side and you're like, oh man, it's good that I don't know him like those guys. But we're looking at it from our side going like, dude, SpongeBob was great. And it's a bummer that you missed it.
Sorta?
A little bit. Maybe I'm exaggerating it. As in the situation, not how good SpongeBob was. SpongeBob was really good. It's still on though, and it's like, it's just not the same. That's what a show is on the air for too long. Leave word.
Yeah, you done?
I'm done.
Okay.
Just scratch. Oh, there we go. Levi's coming up soon.
I'm coming up very soon.
Stay tuned. Stuna. CB Turtle, walking down the street. CB Turtle, the kind I'd like to rip the shell off and eat. All right, good.
That's terrifying.
No, it's not.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to be going up and down and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, we have purpose questions here. They're generally pretty easy to tell because half the time they say, what's the purpose of this thing that they did? So that's pretty obvious. And then also it'll just, the way they ask the question. So this has the effect of doing this, or the author said this in order to blank, any of those things. But here we just say, what is the main purpose? So luckily it's not the entire passage. It's of the opening sentence of the passage. So the main purpose of the opening sentence of the passage is to lag. We're lagging.
Show back.
Wait, click escape real quick. I want to see what our... Oh, you have to bring the mouse over to you and then click escape. Are we still...
We're good.
We still lagging, CB Turtle?
We're in the green right now.
Okay.
Go back in.
Yes, please. Okay, so what's the point of the the first sentence? I only had like a half second of that song. Oh, I'm sorry, CB Turtle. You wanna? Did you miss? Hey, Bird, you gotta sing that song again.
CB Turtle, walking down the street. CB Turtle, the kind I'd like to rip the shell off and eat.
That's what you missed. Glad you heard it now? Okay, let us go back to the first line of the passage. I don't want to look at the answer choices here because it won't help necessarily. Okay, and this whole passage, so we're saying you've read the passage, now you're at the questions. I think it's back just for the song. I think it's just for the song. Oh, wait. There we go. We liked it. CB Turtle liked it.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. No man. Oh, okay. This whole passage, since we're assuming you've read it, is about a dude who doesn't like his job. He's very unhappy. He's a mopey dude. He's moping around. He doesn't like where he lives. Everything is pretty sad. And then the first sentence. Let's read that. No man likes to acknowledge that he has made a mistake in his choice of profession, and every man worthy of the name will row long against wind and tide before he allows himself to cry out, I am baffled.
Keep going.
Really? Oh, I am baffled, and submits to be floated passively back to land. Okay. So the main thing here is no a man, and maybe it has to do with women, but no man likes to admit that they have taken the wrong profession, and they'll keep their head down and they'll keep rowing against the tide, against the wind, before they finally say, I don't know what's going on. Okay, why does the author say that here at the beginning of a passage about a guy who's very unhappy in his job? So, establish the narrator's perspective on a controversy. No, I don't like the word controversy. There is no real controversy in this passage. So I'm going to cross that word out. Because we want, the purpose of any piece of the passage has to serve the main, at least the main idea, but definitely the main purpose of the passage overall. And the main purpose of the passage is not some didactic moral thing, but there's certainly no controversy. B, provide context useful in understanding the narrator's emotional state. Yeah, that's a little bit better because the narrator's emotional state is very sad, and this is context, and the narrator is saying, well, no man likes to admit that they've chosen the wrong profession. So that's actually not bad. And then, so I'm going to, I like the word context here, and I like that it's good to understand the emotional state of the narrator. And then C, offer a symbolic representation of Edward Crimsworth's plight. That's, okay. That's actually not bad, so I'm going to leave that there. And then D, contrast the narrator's good intentions with his malicious conduct. I think that's too strong. I think there's good intentions and malicious conduct. I don't like good or malicious because this sentence doesn't say anything about good or evil. So I don't like the word malicious, and I don't like the word good. So D is certainly out. A is certainly out. Now we're at B and C. Provide context useful in understanding the narrator's emotional state. I do like that. This is a purpose question. And then C, offer a symbolic representation of Edward Crimsworth's plight. I don't think there's any purpose. That's not the purpose of this sentence. This sentence is the introduction to the entire passage. And this is, so Edward Crimsworth's plight is something that's going on in the passage, but...
Now wait.
Yes?
The narrator. Who is the narrator?
We can go back if we want. Flip down a little so we can see what happens. So this is a general thing up here. No man likes to do this. The thing itself. Is this all a quote here?
No,
In the first week of my yeah, so it is the narrator is
the one working.
the one working.
Yeah, and then what does it say about?
Well, okay, so we need to think about who Edward Crimsworth is.
Right. The first time they mention him is...
It's no, go down again. It's line over here. So antipathy is the only word which can express the feeling Edward Crimsworth had for me. Ah, okay. So this is go back to the question now.
So wait, who's Crimsworth?
It's his boss.
Oh.
Or his coworker or something like that. So that's very tricky. The person is wrong here. That's the issue. So it sounds really good, but that's because Brady and I actually haven't read this passage very, very recently. So we had to go find who Edward Crimsworth is. That's the boss or the coworker or something, not the narrator. So everything is great in C aside from the person himself. So the answer is B. Okay, so a couple of reasons why these other answers were wrong. A, it does not go in line with the purpose of the passage overall or the main idea of the passage, so controversy is out. And then D is too strong. There's too much emotion in that. There's definitely some confusion in the sentence, but it's not good and evil. So that's additional stuff that's not supported. And then C is perfect, but it uses the wrong character. So you have to be very careful of that. You have to be really, really, really nitpicky about your characters, their relationships, their thoughts, and to the degree to which they feel whatever's going on. Okay, let's go to number 15, Brady.
Got it.
And I'm going to get a rag. It is hot down here. Okay. Hey, CB Turtle, do you have any questions that are unrelated to this? Like what's going on in the life of CB Turtle studying for the test? If not, that's fine. Okay, now, 15, we're right here. Wow. So I've already circled B, which is not necessarily the right answer. Okie dokie. The main purpose of the fifth paragraph, lines 43 to 56, is to blank. All right, yeah, just go with the flow. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, we'll do some stuff later. That'll be good. We'll do some more problems. Main purpose. So it says main purpose again. Lovely. Of the fifth paragraph is to, so let's go back up to the passage.
Good idea.
This is a great idea. So this is about...
What lines is it?
43 to 56, I want to say.
45, 56?
Yeah. So it's this paragraph here. So okay, that's the paragraph we're working with. And let's just refresh what this passage is about. So recent debates about the economy have rediscovered the question, is that right? Where right means more than just profits or efficiency. So it's free market, but also let's be ethical about our decision making in business. That's what this passage is about. And then there's something at the end that shows that fair trade coffee actually makes more profit, I think, than on average than regular traded coffee. Okay, so this is a pro-ethics in business type of passage. Let's read this really quick. There is yet another approach. Instead of rooting ethics in character or consequences of actions, we can focus on our actions themselves. Okay, so focus on actions. I'm going to use maybe a better marker. Focus on our actions themselves. From this perspective, some things are right, some wrong. We should buy and trade goods. We shouldn't tell lies. And okay, so shouldn't tell lies is something that we shouldn't do. Also, I think this is pretty important. There is yet another approach. I like that. It kind of places this paragraph in the passage. Here's something else we can do. Okay, ethics becomes a list of commandments, a catalog of do's and don'ts. When a finance official refuses to devalue currency because they have promised not to, they are defining ethics this way. Okay, so choosing right and wrong rather than being outcome-based. According to this approach, devaluation can still be bad, even if it would make everybody better off. Okay, I don't really actually understand that sentence. Oh, I see. Okay, so devaluing, even if it would make people better off, it could still be bad because it's the wrong thing to do ethically. So it's this This paragraph seems to be giving another approach of rooting ethics in character versus consequences. Okay, great. I like that. So going with the flow, let's go back to the answer choices. We are looking at number 15 here. Okay, the main purpose of this paragraph is to develop a counterargument to the claim that greed is good. No, because we saw at the beginning of the paragraph it said yet another approach. That clearly doesn't situate the paragraph in, well, instead of being greedy, we should be good. So I don't like counterargument, and I don't like greed. It's not referencing greed. It's saying this is another way to look at ethics. It's another definition, another approach to ethics. B, provide support for the idea that ethics is about character. No, it's not support. It's not saying ethics should be about character. It's not supporting that idea. What it's doing is defining that idea and explaining what it means. So I don't like the word support. Be very careful here. Why is the author saying it? That's the question we're asking. Purpose. It means why. That is what you need to answer when you do these questions. Yes, CB Turtle, do you agree with me? This is ACT, SAT, doesn't matter. C, describe a third approach to defining ethical economics. Oh, okay, well the first sentence was yet another approach, so that's pretty good. I'm not sure about third, but we're going to assume that might be right. I do like that. So describe an approach, that's good. D, illustrate that one's actions are a result of one's character. No, it's not saying that. It's not doing some overly philosophical thing about connecting character and action. It's saying we'll define ethics based on the actions, not the results. Hey, not Boyle. What's up? Bowley? Boyle? I don't know. Boy? It's Boy. It looks like Boyle. I don't know why it always looks like that. Yeah, long time no see. There we go. What's up? Do you have any questions, by the way? We're almost done with this, and then we'll be open to anything. We can just talk also. So, I don't like... It's not illustrating this stuff. It's not talking about results. Like this relationship they've created, which is that character results in action, that's not what they're saying. What they're saying is that there is another approach here. It's about ethics. So I don't like this whole relationship here. This whole thing is just bad. It's the wrong idea. There we go. I don't know how to erase. So I would say the answer is C here. These should be worked through just as methodically as every other question, but it's not just, okay, find the evidence and this is what it's saying. It's not saying what does this say. It's asking why does it say it. We know what it said. So that's actually a wrong answer they'll put in there sometimes too, where they'll just say this is what it said. That's not the point necessarily. We want what is the point? What's the purpose? Okay. I am done with purpose questions. Braid, you can turn off the overlay if you would like. We are now open to questions. It can be about anything. It can be, you know, what are we up to? What are you up to? We don't really mind. Ideally, it's about test stuff or school stuff or something like that. Oh my goodness. Did you see what happened?
What does it say?
We just got a sub from CB Turtle.
Uh-oh. Well done, CB Turtle! Well done!
That was delightful, Bird.
Thank you.
You can't sub. Why? I don't know.
No, WY, which is an acronym for...
Why?
I hope not. What about Wyoming? I can't sub Wyoming. I can't substitute Wyoming. That's because you're a person. You got to be a state to be able to substitute for Wyoming.
Lamau Boy equals Wyoming. right?
Is it?
It is 2 eyes.
It is boil. I thought it
Wouldn't
was
be
like boil.
I always think boil.
Oh man, I'm getting some burps.
Dude, why are you doing that?
I don't know, dude.
Okay,
I
that's a
don't
good
like
idea.
either. Anybody have any questions? Hey, let's talk about this, huh? Well, let's wait 30 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe... Hey, maybe it'll help them to sub if you get me my water bottle.
Well, I can't argue with that logic.
Yeah. It's a possibility. I'm not saying it's definitely there.
Hey, what's... Hold on. Nyah. 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 There we go. Kafka.
We will get to that, Scotta.
Yes.
Hey, this is Alta Ipsum. Alta Ipsum in Latin and Greek simultaneously
They're our sponsor.
means summit yourself. Yes, it's our sponsor. Yes, it's not us, but it's our sponsor.
Correct.
It means summit yourself. It's an app on the computer and on your phone. It's not there already, but you can get it.
Yes.
And it allows you to track your grades, to organize your classes, to set goals for yourself, all of those types of things. So you can use it on your phone and on your computer and on what else do people have?
Like there's an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
No, there's not.
There's like a computer choker now. You can
Is there? You can put all tips on that?
Yeah, you can
that's
put it
right.
on your choker.
Hey, and you know what's fun about it?
Yeah, well, you can track all those things. You can put in, a test that you have coming up, and it will create a study schedule for you, and then you can customize it from there. But it's very, very useful and very robust in the things that it can do.
And you know what else you can put on there is once you get it, on that little calendar part of it, you can put Nerdish Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 8 to 9:30 p.m.
Don't tell them that.
That's when we are!
Oh.
Yeah, guys, prep for these tests is a serious business. Actually, though. But you should try to be consistent there with your practice. And also, the first month is free. So just check it out and see if it's for you. If not, no sweat. There's literally zero sweat. Everything is very dry on the face. Lamau boy, ACT or SAT, or, if no one else is asking questions, you could ask us some other questions too.
Ideally, SAT and ACT.
Ideally, yes. Yeah. Did you just burp at me?
No.
It's like aggressive.
Sorry.
Scotta.
Kafka.
Franz Kafka. Franz. Kafka. You ever read anything by Kafka?
By Kafka?
Kafka.
Kafka, yes.
You ever read anything by Dostoevsky?
Yes. No.
Wait, either of them?
I'm giving you options.
How can I be good at reading section? I'm literally so bad at reading. Here's an idea. Read more.
Yep.
Are there things that you like reading? Are there books or are there articles? I would not recommend reading tweets and little memes and things like that just to build up your reading speed. Only way to get better at reading is to continually read. So like you should not be finding things that are a chore to read. There should be certain things that when you start reading, you're like, wow, that's really interesting. I want to keep reading. I want to see where this goes. That's the kind of thing that you want to find. Okay, so get some recommendations for. I don't know if you like reading about certain things in the news or like science stuff or just like books. Hey, here's a question. Whenever I try to read, it gets kind of thing of boring starts. Whenever I try to read it, it kind of thing of boring starts.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
We kind of you get bored when you read, yes?
Yeah. So you're reading the wrong thing.
Are you saying you get bored on the test, or you get bored when you try to read in general? Probably both, but which one are you referencing right now?
Yeah. I'm not sure what that means.
We need to figure that out.
Why did that happen?
I don't know. Can't be bad, though.
It's so irregular.
Dang it.
Lamau, we gave you several options. You gotta be more specific.
Sorry. I always ask several questions, and then I get an answer, and I have no idea what's being answered. One rule I've heard is each time before you turn on the TV, read a page of your book. You most likely...
Did Brendan tell him that?
I don't know. It wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
Okay. If you feel bored whenever you read, it's honestly partially probably because of the way that people are raised now, including us, which is attention span. If you spend 2 weeks away from video games and videos in general, you'll probably have a longer attention span, and social media. But
Well,
not us.
I
think
don't
that's
read some
it is
Kafka.
part.
Don't read Kafka, whatever you do.
Kafka will not
Not be for
a page
you.
turner
Got to
for
be somewhere else in your reading career to read Kafka.
It's gotta stop.
I'm gonna
it.
push back on you for a second there.
Okay.
How do you know that after 2 weeks your attention span increases? Like, how would you be able to measure that?
There are studies.
Are
So,
there?
Yeah, two. Like I think 2.
How does one measure attention span?
I don't know. There was studies. There were studies.
No, I mean that sounds right to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be away from my PS4 for 5 months. Rainbow Canoe.
Rainbow Canoe.
You canoeing all that time? Yes. Lamau boy. Yeah, like. Again, what have you tried to read? Are there like what topics do you enjoy? Are there like magazines that are like up your alley? Do you like video games? There's Game Informer. I'm not sure if that magazine is still published, but I got it when I was younger, and I liked reading it.
Yeah, it's very likely that you're being told to read different things, and all of them make you bored. So why would you go and read on your own? I would hope at some point in your life, have you liked reading? You know, when you started reading and they let you read whatever you want. Like, what about Babar and
What?
Frog and Toad? Babar, the
Babar?
elephant. Babar, he's an elephant. You
Game
remember?
Informer still exists. Comes with your GameStop thing. Yeah, okay. The thing I like about Game Informer is they would have like little screenshots from the games, and the writers of the magazine would put in captions, and they were hilarious. Like just funny little, like, oh, this is where I left my car, or like things like that. That like the characters in the game, they don't actually talk, but they make little captions up for the pictures. That's really the only reason I got it. I didn't really read most of it except for that. I also did popular science. Yeah, Lamau boy.
We haven't helped you.
Hopefully we've give you some recommendations.
Read stuff that you like. I'm sure there are topics that interest you. Read about those. That is your way in.
Yeah, it's your way in.
And get in and read. As long as you're reading and as long as it's full sentences and not really, really stupid, it will help.
Yes. Yes. I was going to say, yeah, you know, there comes a time where you actually stop really reading the words and you just recognize the words. Like, I don't know, for some reason I'm thinking about the word through. Like, I haven't actually sounded out through by the letters in decades. Like, I see through and I know exactly what the word is before I even need to, like, you know, look through each of the letters. Like, I just know what that word looks like.
Yeah, because it becomes a relational word between whatever's being said around it, and you build some sort of mental garbage.
Exactly. So it is kind of a self-feedback loop, a positive feedback loop. The more you read, the better you're going to get at it. But yeah, your challenge is to find the stuff that you actually don't get bored reading. That's the tough part. Trust me, the universe goes infinitely outward and infinitely inward, so there are things somewhere in there that you want to know more about. It's just a matter of finding things that are written about that.
In here.
It's in your heart. Listen to your heart when it's giving you book recommendations. Listen to your heart
when we're singing
this
this
song. I
Listen to
don't
you.
know where you're going
I don't know the next line.
with this next line.
Got it.
Listen to your heart.
And your tutor is us.
Basically, vocab hits me on reading, and it get me boring and want to get. Okay, so wait. I think it gets you bored, right?
Are you a native English speaker? Because that could be an issue with reading English stuff. That could definitely make it very boring and annoying. If not, fine. Just because it is a possibility. Not a native. Shoot, what did I say? So you're just to confirm, you are not a native English speaker, correct?
What is your native language?
That's a good question. Foolproof.
Yes, that is a good question. Let's see, this is interesting. I'm not a native speaker.
Very good.
What is your original language, Lamau boy?
Did you have one?
Not English, to be honest. Right. Well, that makes sense.
Are you taking a test? Are you taking the SAT or ACT, or are you just hanging out?
Me too. Just for
Yeah, so a couple questions. Just curiosity, what is your native language? And are you going to be taking your SAT or ACT? Is that the goal here? or are you just wanting to know how to get better at reading? I think they mentioned the reading section.
True.
I mean, they're going to give us a different language, and like, I'm not really sure what the advice is we're going to have for that. I think life-wise, if it's easier for you to read your native language, like, that's what you should be doing. Hindi, right. So, yeah, like, if you're reading Hindi, and that's going really well, and you enjoy it, and you find things that you're interested in reading, like, then life-wise, you're set. Like, reading is you being exposed to new ideas and needing to construct images of things in your head, which is a very, very worthwhile pursuit. Unfortunately, if you're taking the ACT or SAT, it's reading English that counts for these tests.
What can help is reading books that have been translated between Hindi and English. So if you've read Harry Potter in Hindi, read it in English, because then you're basing you already know what's happening, and so it is old ideas that are being explained in a new way. So it's a very good way to learn a new language that you're very bad at. You're clearly very good at English, but the SAT is not the SAT is mainly for native speakers. So to get to that level, it's a lot of reading, ideally as high level stuff as you can manage based on things you already know. So Harry Potter, maybe you don't know what Harry Potter is. Some very, very well-known enough thing so that it's in Hindi and it's in English.
If the vocab is what's getting you, then, this is not meant to be an insult. Go for some lower level reading. Like, find some books that are like young adult novels, or like books for like, kids that don't have words that you don't understand. Now, ideally, there should be a little bit of challenge, a little bit, but not too much. Because if it's too much, you're going to get bored and exhausted. And it'll be like, I don't know what half of this means, so, throw it out. If you can get, I know Harry Potter, I love reading it. Yes, Harry Potter's a good
English?
idea. Yeah.
Keep doing it.
Yeah, actually, though, if you can read it in English and you know everything, keep going. Yes. Yeah. Oh, good. That's a good idea.
So things like that. Keep doing that.
I know people that have read Harry Potter several times. So that's not, even for people that are not trying to improve their language skills, they just love the book so much that they just read the entire, whatever list or series again. Yeah, find a grade level, a grade level that's like a nice one for you to be at. See if the books on that level are, good enough to read that you feel like you understand what's going on, but there's, a little bit here and there you have to look up. And I guess work your way up. It's almost like working out. It's like you're building a muscle here. And it's going to be tough at first. And I don't have experience with, I've done some language learning. I know most of my language learning is in Spanish. And I've tried reading in Spanish, like actual novels, and it's tough. It really is. It's very difficult. So I understand what you're saying. If I had to take a test in that, that'd be tough.
Yes.
Good.
Any other questions? Or thoughts?
Concerns.
Comments?
Suggestions. Warnings.
Dialogues?
Precautions.
Attention getters?
Diatribes.
Phrases?
Rants.
Ponderings?
Musings.
Ruminations?
Illuminations.
Utterances?
Deliverances.
Dictations?
Pronouncements.
Imperatives?
Announcements.
Silences?
Declarations here.
Commandments?
Fortnite new update.
Right. Okay, well, we did ask for literally everything that anybody could ever say.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Yeah, there was a new update. Very exciting.
We're all very excited about it. It's
Yes.
nothing to them. That accent means nothing. Tell them Malboy.
No, certainly not.
Yeah.
It's just
What a
annoying.
very niche cultural accent.
Nietzsche.
Friedrich. I have an uncle Fred. I once asked him if his name was short for Fredward. Do you guys ever just draw on the glass? We used to. Back when we were not yet sensitized or desensitized.
It is
to
fun.
glass.
No, I do really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Let's draw
Draw CB Turtle.
CB Turtle. Okay.
Squirtle. CB turtle. Squirtword. Oh, normal distribution with a wide standard deviation.
Yeah.
It's a shell. I was on vacation one time.
What do turtles' feet look like?
Like they're like kind of outward. They're like green cylinders, but they kind of flex outward a little bit. On vacation one time, and we were walking through this little patch of wilderness, and we had a tour guide with us, and it was like a bunch of people. And one of the women in this group.
Wait, what am I doing?
One of the women in this group, after we saw a turtle, asked, "Can you take the shells off of the turtle?" Which is just, it's hilarious for many reasons. And I've thought through these reasons. Number one, that seems to imply that the shell is not a living thing. It's just like there are shells lying around that turtles just find and then just start walking around in them, which is just a hilarious prospect. Number two, there's no connective tissue between the turtle and the shell. If you've always seen a turtle with a shell, that's because it's part of its body. There'd be no way for it to grow unless it was a separate organism and maintain size with the turtle. Number three, the idea of removing a turtle from its shell, which is essentially its bone structure, of ripping the turtle out from inside, it just is gruesome. And just like, what do you think? I feel like if she just stopped to think about it for just like 20 seconds, she would have understood that that's preposterous.
Yes, okay, so CB turtle. I have heard from some very trustworthy sources that
I.e.
Bird, him,
me,
Brady. That you actually evolved from a car.
Could be true, could not be true.
Yeah, so you were a car, and then you became a turtle, and then it became a little bit more turtle-like, and you had a little face. I don't know what turtle faces look like. They have hair, right? A little spiky hair.
They have hair.
Yeah, and then this kind of
Yeah, they all have
becomes a
little
little
mohawks.
more foot-like, and there's another one over there.
How did you guess it?
And then
Levi just knows these kind of things.
slow down a lot.
Is this the evolution that we're watching right now?
Yeah. Lose your
Remember,
ring.
evolution is something that a singular organism does. So if you watch one animal for a long enough period of time, that singular animal in front of you will evolve. Because that's how it works. Just kidding. That is complete sarcasm. That is not how it works. It is a species-wide thing. But we're watching right now what happened to CB Turtle, and CB Turtle breaks all the rules. It managed to evolve by itself because survival of the fittest. It was able to become fitter than itself.
Yes.
Displacing itself every couple months.
Yes.
Right.
That's you. So yeah, sometimes we draw stuff when nobody's asking us questions about the tests.
CB Turtle, yeah, yeah, yeah. CB Turtle, won't you look my way?
Anybody learning something in math that they don't really like,
CB
or they don't
Turtle,
fully grasp and they want to clarify some stuff?
Yeah. Otherwise, what do you think about 9:15?
What am I doing?
No, what do you think about 9:15?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. CB Turtle, won't you look my way? CB Turtle, won't you stay with me? 'Cause I need you. I'll take you out of your shell. You don't need it. It's a separate part of you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Different song.
No,
What are you doing?
I'd switch to
What
Hey
song?
Baby, but
Horizontal asymptotes, whatever those called. Could be,
apertures?
is it asymptotes? Because apertures aren't a camera.
Yeah.
Asymptotes, we got you.
Yeah. Oh, we want to. Don't worry.
Yeah, we want to.
Okay, so you're gonna get. Let's say you get an equation, huh? I'm gonna write an equation.
Go for it.
All right. Well, no, I'm not gonna write. No, I'll write an equation. I'll write a function
These are
up here.
rational functions.
Yeah. So let's say that we have. Let's say we have x squared minus.
2.
3x, and let's also say
You're gonna be.
horizontal asymptote.
Are you gonna do top heavy, bottom heavy, or medium?
I'm gonna
Balanced?
do right in the medium. Does that make sense? Give me a second. I'm going to get there.
Give one of the x squares a coefficient.
Okay. Wait, but then give me a moment. Okay, how was that, Bird?
Fantastic. Okay. So, there
Yeah.
are three different situations.
Start over there because this gets more complicated.
Sure. There are three different situations. All right. Depending on the degree, asymptotes. Let's actually write out that word for you. There we go. Asymptotes. Visually, what asymptotes are there lines that your function approaches. You don't actually, like, the lines are dotted because they don't actually exist. They're not part of the function, but the function approaches it. So if we're talking about horizontal asymptotes, it might look something like this, where you've got a line that's like starts to become really, really close, and maybe you have a vertical one too. Woo, and it starts, it never actually goes through that line. Now, you're actually allowed to go through a horizontal asymptote. You can't go through a vertical one, but you're allowed to go through it. But either way, when you go out to the far reaches of the graph, your function approaches those asymptotes. So it all depends upon the biggest exponent you have on the top and bottom, which is called the degree. Here we have degree 1 over degree 3. So this right here we're going to call bottom heavy. Levi's going to label his. He's going to have his balanced, because you got x squared over x squared. That's a balanced. You're off screen a little bit. And this right here is top heavy. Okay. These are the three different situations that you have to understand. So we'll start with this one, with bottom heavy. What you need to ask yourself is, as x gets very large, what is this function going to turn into? All right? So we have 5x over 10x cubed plus 3. As x approaches infinity, what's going to happen to this function? Well, I'll tell you which terms are going to stop mattering. This plus 3 is going to mean nothing. All right? X cubed, if x is a very large number, x cubed is massive. Plus 3 is going to really not matter much anymore. So as that becomes dwindlingly important, or less important, I'm going to get rid of that. This slowly turns into 5x over 10x cubed, which we can do a little bit of simplification, okay? There's an x on the top and bottom we can get rid of. So this becomes, and that's going to become an x squared. So we have 5 over 10x squared, okay? Now, as x approaches infinity, what does this turn into? 5 is quite small. The bottom is going to become huge. So if you just have a very small number over a massive number, that's like, it's going to be really, really close to 0. The larger the bottom gets, the closer this is going to become to 0. So what that means is your horizontal asymptote is going to be y is equal to 0. That's what it's approaching here. So if you're bottom heavy, your horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. If you are top heavy, let's do the same thing here. We have to imagine x going to infinity. So we have 3x squared over x plus 1. What's not going to matter anymore? The plus 1. It's going to become meaningless as x becomes quite large. You're going to have 3x squared over x, which can be simplified a little bit because there's an x on top and an x on bottom, which is going to give us, this cancels out with that, 3x. So what we have here is called a slant asymptote, because our asymptote is actually the line y equals 3x. So I'm going to erase this here for now. Also called an oblique asymptote, but it is a diagonal asymptote.
So the rule is so this is a generalization of what he's saying. So for horizontal asymptotes, the degree, which you already explained, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that biggest x squared to whatever power value, that's the n and the m in this fraction. So here it's 2 over 1. Here it's 1 over 3. So if your degree above is smaller, you don't have a slant asymptote. You have a horizontal asymptote of y equals 0. It's on the x-axis there.
Yes.
Please ask questions if you don't understand something, because this is very, very confusing. And then if this is wrong.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
For this diagonal asymptote, if you graph y equals 3x, that's this dotted line, your function will approach that. So it might be something like this. Whoa. And so then I'm talking about maybe a vertical, and then you've got it, whoa, doing that over there. So it's approaching that line there. That's what a slant asymptote looks like. And then you have balanced, where n is equal to m. You want to talk about what's going to happen here?
No.
Okay. So It's the same deal, where you think about if x gets really big, what stops mattering? On the bottom, not only will the negative 3 not matter, the negative 2x will also not matter because x squared, its big brother, is going to become huge. If you're at x equals 1,000, this is 1,000 squared. That's massive. 2x, that's just 2,000, not a lot. So this is going to turn into, on the bottom, wait, let's give us a better arrow here. We're going to have x squared on the bottom, and on top, the negative 9x is not going to matter. We're going to have 3x squared. Well, we can cancel out our x squareds because they're on both the top and the bottom, which leaves us with 3. So our horizontal asymptote is going to be y is equal to 3. So what this means is, if they're balanced, you take the ratio of the coefficients, and that's what your horizontal asymptote is going to be equal to.
This is very complicated.
Until you see this pattern, which is what happens when x gets really big and you can like actually get rid of things, it starts making a little more sense. But yes, when you first see this, you're like, wow, this is crazy stuff. And that's just horizontal. There's also vertical. Vertical's a little easier, though. One thing that they probably have you do is when you're taking oblique asymptotes, they're going to want you to actually divide the polynomials to get exactly what... Thanks. To get exactly what your slant asymptote's going to be. So if you have something like x squared plus 5x plus 7, and it's over something like x minus 2, this is not a factor of this, so you can't just factor this and cancel out. If you could, it'd be great. What you actually have to do here is do either polynomial long division or synthetic division, and then you'll get whatever your... It's going to be x plus or minus something when you divide this, plus a remainder. The remainder does not matter with what your slant asymptote is. It's whatever you get for your actual quotient without the remainder. That is what your slant asymptote is going to be.
Yay! Anything else you want, CB Turtle?
Good question.
Do you have any other questions?
Otherwise, I think we might call it a night.
Where's my...
Where's yours?
Where's your...
Where's your...
Where'd you put it, mine? There's so much. You always complain about how wet it gets.
I do?
Yes.
You don't know that.
I like it out. Yeah, I do. I have it on video.
Awesome, CB Turtle. I'm glad we could help. You're so awesome.
Ya-da-da.
Ya-da-da.
Da-da-da-da.
Da-da-da-da. We have very similar ranges. Oh,
Do we?
Far range.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah, it's fun.
Hey, that's fun. Wait, is there an umlaut?
Yeah. Should I send it to her?
Let's see.
We'll do it later.
Okay.
I think that's best.
Yeah, probably.
So wait.
It's not giving too much of Brady's personal life.
I've always wanted to be just like you. So I'm now on my way.
There you go. That's all you need.
Very exciting.
That's all you need. Very exciting.
Very exciting.
Pretty cool.
Pretty stellar.
That's kind of fun.
That's a little flirty.
Fun, flirty, and free. The 3 Fs.
That should be the name of one of our streams.
Fun, flirty, and free.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good activity. It's fun, flirty, and free, like bowling. Except bowling is not free, so it's only fun and flirty.
Nor is it not fun.
I like bowling.
I despise bowling.
Really?
But not as much as I was so small as a child,
Yes.
continue to be small,
Yeah.
and it hurt my joints, and I was very bad at it. I would always slip. I could never get the ball to get to the end.
That doesn't make any sense.
I was so bad.
When was the last time you went bowling?
I mean, hundreds of years ago.
You don't even know if you
They
still...
didn't even have it back then. That's why I hated it so much.
You're a different human.
But Bird,
You can make the ball go down the whole way.
but the ball gets bigger as you get bigger.
No, it doesn't.
It does. They've grown since I was young.
Like a turtle shell?
Yes.
Let's go. That's called a callback.
Yeah.
Comedy.
Comedy.
That was my mouth. You couldn't tell. You stay up here. I'm gonna
Yeah.
try.
I mean, wait, are we done?
I'm
Oh, yeah.
done.
Okay.
Are you done?
I guess you're done. Have a good night, everybody. We'll be back next week.